What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Adventures of Runeterra, a D&D podcast set in the wonderful world of Runeterra, which is, of course, the prime plane for the League of Legends universe. Just as a refresher for those of you that are just hopping onto the adventure now, D&D is collective storytelling where the DM controls the world and gives us obstacles. We as players roll various dice to see if we succeed or fail in our chosen responses. We're using 5e D&D rules and some of the newly released Riot D&D Beyond partnered content to help bring all of this to life. So this episode is number 3. Thanks again for joining, and now let's meet the cast. I am Hebrew Hammer playing Pharaoh, the gentleman who was just about to beat the shit out of Taylum last episode. Don't let anyone tell you any differently.
Oh, really? Really?
That is 100% true. You're lucky that Ray ended up intervening on us there. Yeah.
She was saving you from yourself.
Mm-hmm. All right, next we have Chewburger84.
Hey, what's up? I play Taylum, the CEO and operator of Boats and Holes.
So not only does that work in the episode, but I'm assuming that was also a pun to Boats and Hoes. Oh, I can't say that.
Oh, what are you going to ruin a good joke?
Yeah.
Subtlety is not what I normally do either.
All right, ruined again. It's my Cecil side popping up. Then we have the one and only Ray Mayhem.
Hello, everybody. I play Nose, the Ionian druid with a no-blink game so strong, she beat an undead pirate.
Ooh, so true. I swear, like, if people like get really invested in the show, we're gonna see, you know how you can make custom feats on D&D Beyond? I'm sure the like stare down feat will show up tomorrow. Yeah.
Either that or we'll make that into a YouTube video where people can like comment in the sections at what point did they have to bail out from.
Did they have to blame?
It'll be like that old Nightmare video.
Yeah.
Board game.
Yeah.
It's just Ray.
Those on
staring at the
VHS,
audience.
and these guys will have no idea. These guys are gonna have no idea what we're talking about, Chib. They're all 12. They're all 12.
Well, Ray, let me ask you, how good are you at eye staring contests in real life anyways?
Oh, I don't blink. It's because I'm dead inside, but yes, I'm pretty good at them in real life.
Okay, well that's maybe we can make that a perk so they just get online and stare at you, and whoever blinks first.
We can have a
wins.
Skype call and just stare at each other.
Exactly. Weirdest perk ever. All right, and then next, of course, we have the Irishman.
What's up, everyone? I play Drek, and I really like rum.
So
You had me going there. I thought it was a mistake, and I was about to make fun of your audio screw up. All right, and then lastly, of course, we have our amazing DM, Shivy.
Hi everyone, I am the eyebrows and cheekbones of Runeterra.
There we go. Slowly making it all the way through the face already. I like how you're an intern in TLOED, and then you're now officially God for sure in this one.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So first of all, I just want to talk about, we are finally on, it should be on everything as far as YouTube and Apple Podcasts and Stitcher and what was the other one? Spotify and all of that by the time that you guys listen to this. So that's great. So if that is the case, look us up on Apple Podcasts. Give us a 5-star review if you enjoyed the show. We would really appreciate it. It helps out with visibility and just making sure that everyone knows that this is the biggest and baddest D&D League of Legends podcast around town. So it would really help out. And speaking of that, someone beat us to it before we even said anything from last episode. Ray, go ahead and give us the lowdown on this new review we got.
Absolutely. And just as a heads up, they asked for a special interpretation of this. So, everybody buckle up. Because I'm Biz! This is incredible! It's like stepping into League and walking around with friends. Authentic to Legends of Runeterra? Stop it. And League... I have to start over. I'm taking my earbuds out because when you guys laugh, I laugh. Alright,
Okay.
hold on. I'm Biz. This is incredible. It's like stepping into League and walking around with friends. Authentic to Legends of Runeterra and League lore, and a fun RPG to boot. Nose and Drek are the duo we need in these dark times. And Shibby is amazing! And thank you to RMZ0812.
Thanks, Fizz.
Very nice. I'll give you some claps on that. That was very good.
Awesome.
That was amazing. Yeah, Fizz, we do need Ray back in. Fizz, I hate you as a character.
Get out of here.
Please go away.
And now
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure if this was a Ruination listener that listened or not, but anyone that listens to the Ruination knows I hate Fizz more than any other character. So they might have been doing this as a subtle troll towards me.
which is pretty smooth.
But yeah, Ray, I've never been more happy to have you back in my life. But just as they requested, whenever you give us a 5-star review, we will go ahead and read it off in a Legends of Runeterra or League of Legends character voice. So make sure that you list that somewhere in the review, either at the beginning or the end, and we will make sure to do that. So with that all being said, let's go ahead and jump right into the good stuff. Shibby, take us back in to the world of Runeterra.
On the previous episode, our heroes, newly inflicted with the Black Mark, were led by Captain Gangplank, Bilgewater's former Reaver King, to the anchored ship the Wise Man's Folly. There, you were introduced to Gangplank's lieutenant and a figure from Drek's past, Phineas Bragg, the new captain of the Folly. You learned the Black Mark cursed you with 1 month to live, unless in that time you could accomplish Gangplank's grand plan to take the head of Misfortune and thus bring an end to her rule over Bilgewater. You were given your first task, to remove Misfortune's ally in the Black Market Grottos, a mysterious figure known only as the Metal Mistress. To do so, you would need to first find her. Your only lead was that her personal courier would be at a meeting midday tomorrow on the 3rd floor of the Pillage and Plunder Auction House, in the floating markets of the Leviathan's Maw. Your task given, Taylum and Pharaoh made their own respective side deals with Bragg and Gangplank, each volunteering to spy on the other villain. One dance battle, drop the mic bonfire and licky boat argument later, and our heroes found themselves swimming the rest of their way back to town, perhaps a little less united than the task ahead of them would require. And that's where we pick up, with you all dragging yourselves sopping wet from Bilgewater Bay onto the dock. The city is quiet, the bay is foggy, and the moon is full and bright. What do you want to do?
All right, so I just got up to shore, and I'm very upset because I can't swim very well, and I still don't know why we did this, because the seas of Bilgewater are infested with a whole bunch of killer fish. But we somehow made it out. I'm a terrible swimmer. I'm pretty upset right now at Taylum, and I'm going to go ahead and look at the group and say, I cannot believe that you all have put us in this situation right now. I mean, I can barely swim out there. Please never, ever shoot a boat that we're in ever again. As a general rule, people, this is something we can't do.
Excuse me, we got us in this situation? We got us in this situation. Mister, I am so good with thieves' tools. I should open this chest that Nose definitely said has bad stuff inside of it. We got ourselves into this situation.
Well, whenever someone says that there's a necromancer thing in there, I'm assuming it's a tool that has necromancy in it that we could use at our enemies.
Pharaoh, you are being the tool right now, okay?
All right. Let's not point fingers at anyone anymore. That's not going to solve anything. It was definitely someone's fault, and I look over at Taylum and I say, but let's just let that one slide. This is where we're at right now. We're all in this together. So we have to work as a team.
Drek interjects and he's like, yeah, it was your fault. So you shouldn't have made him shoot the boat. And that was your fault. So
I shouldn't have made him shoot the boat.
Yeah. You made him angry and he shot the boat. It made sense. So
I kick him a little bit. Like kind of try to shoo him off with my foot a little bit. Get out of here. Go.
All right. Tensions are running high. We need to meet the courier of the Metal Mistress tomorrow. I say we should probably get some rest. Maybe those of us who do magic should consider in the morning what we should prepare for the day and leave this night behind us. And maybe in the morning, all of us will feel a little less edgy.
That's a good idea, I think. But I am not 100% comfortable with this man right here being in the same areas where I sleep. So I think that we should all get separate rooms, or maybe, I don't know, Drek and Taylum could bunk together, No Say and I could bunk together. You know, I'm just thinking of possible situations here.
While Pharaoh is talking, you start to hear.
We could also just leave him here and continue. I honestly don't think he'd remember.
No say is gonna scoop up sleeping Drex and
give a cute yawn. Give a cute yawn.
But I imagine he smells like very strong rum, so like it's cute but also a little gross.
Rum and Kraken stomach acid. Yeah.
Ew. Yeah.
Oh, I took a bath since then.
No,
okay.
I gave him a bath. But
That stuff hangs around.
Yeah.
I imagine him to be like the pretty girl at the party that drinks a little too much, and she's like cute to look at, but you get too close and it's like Everclear and like Marlboro Reds. Like it's just a bad combo. So I like that Mike laughed. He knows
that was very
well.
descriptive.
Yeah, that was very specific.
That was a very specific
Was that a me IRL? Was that what that was?
This would be where Peralta comes in and says something like,
Maybe we should
Next
focus.
Moving on.
Maybe we should focus on the task at hand.
So Shibby, what are our options for lodging?
So, No Say, you've been in town not as long as the others, but you've been staying at a flop house in Rat Town called the Raiders Hold. Taylum, you've been in town even less than No Say, and you found lodgings at a small inn called the Saucy Sea Snake. As for Pharaoh and Drek, you guys have been around longer, so I will leave it up to you how you guys have been bunking down in the evenings, but it's up to you guys where you want to sleep for this evening.
Well, usually Drek just finds a nice comfy spot and just plops down. So he doesn't need any fancy stuff. But
are you homeless, buddy? Everything okay?
Everything okay at home?
I'm more of a nomad. Okay, I'm a free spirit. I wouldn't use the word
Fancy way of
homeless,
saying
okay?
homeless.
Way to spin it.
Well, I think that maybe we should go back to one of our places, but I will say I do have a pretty nice setup at the Fortune's Glory up in Aries, where I do a little bit of gambling, and they typically put me up whenever I do fairly well, which is quite often, I will say. So, perhaps we can go back there. No Say, you two, maybe find somewhere else. Drek probably has a nice little hole in the wall that you guys can all stay the night at.
If I come with you, the Yordle comes with me.
Well, fine. Let's all just stick together, but I think that we should be very wary of this one right here. And I, point an angry finger at Taylum when I do it.
So Taylum's basically been sitting back with a relatively satisfied smile throughout this entire conversation, knowing that he's really gotten under the skin of Pharaoh. and basically he says, "You have nothing to worry about from me. I just sleep with a gun under my pillow. I'm going to make sure we're all safe for the morning."
I'm going to start walking in the direction of the of Ares and just be like, this crazy guy. Just mumble under my breath as I go that direction.
All right. So where are you guys going to be staying?
With Pharaoh.
The Fortune's Glory.
All right. Sorry, I think I interrupted you, Rex.
And if I heard correct, Pharaoh is going to pay for all our lodging, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Pharaoh is not gonna pay for
because he said, whenever he gambles, they put him up.
That's-
So
They put me up, not for you, but
they put up
I
him
will.
and his friends. So yeah.
As we're walking, I'll say, by the way, I suppose for this one night, I will let you stay for free in my normal setup. But just know if this goes beyond and becomes kind of a thing, then you all need to start chipping in a little bit. I'm not running a charity service.
No Say's just gonna roll her eyes.
For you, No Say, I might make an exception. But for the rest of you, stop paying up after this.
He looks at Drek and he sees Drek sucking his thumb right now. Just
Pharaoh knows he's never getting anything out of Drek.
Is Drek doing that thing that cats do where, like, his tail is tucked up over his tummy? Like,
yes.
Oh, it's so
Of course. So, even though
Does he?
I don't know if
lick
Yordles
his
have
paw and
tails.
clean
Do
his fur?
Yordles have tails? I don't think they do. So.
Depends on the one, because Nar has a tail.
Oh, that's right. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a tail. So for sure.
Thank you, Sean.
Canon now. I've had a tail this whole time.
Thank you, Sean.
All right, so yeah, we walk over to Fortune's Glory.
No worries. So you cross Butcher's Bridge, which separates Rat Town from the Ares. And as you ascend higher into the city, it is distinctly noticeable the quality of patronage at the various establishments the higher you get, until eventually you reach Card Sharp Walk, the most high class and highest stakes gambling street in all of Bilgewater. It glitters with the allure of golden krakens. Even at this time of early morning, the gambling dens and dice houses are still overflowing with patrons, drunkards, gamblers of all stripes. You eventually make your way to Fortune's Glory. It's probably one of the most popular places on Card Sharp Walk. It's quite impressive that you stay there, Pharaoh.
Yes,
And
it
is also often known as much for spectatorship of the high stakes games that go on there as it is for a place to spend your own money. Infamous as the preferred gambling den, for example, of Twisted Fate, though he hasn't been seen at the premises for quite a while. As you enter into the lavish insides of Fortune's Glory, you are greeted by a person extravagantly dressed, though difficult to ascertain their gender. And you would recognize this person, Pharaoh, as the Master of Ceremonies for Fortune's Glory, someone named Zarkon Braff. And Zarkon approaches you and says, "Oh, so good to see you again, Pharaoh. Will you be spending the night with us again?"
My good friend Zarkon. Well, it does appear that I will be staying the night here once again. I brought a few friends with me this time. I hope that you don't mind.
Well, of course. Always a friend of Pharaoh is a friend of ours. There is the small matter of your account. Will you be settling that this evening while you're staying with us?
No, I do need just a little bit longer to get a few nickels and dimes in line, as it were. I have a couple of big accounts coming in the next few days, and we'll be able to square that all away.
Well, don't let it linger too long, my dear. As I've always told you before, if you're looking for some other way to settle your accounts, there's always side work that I could make available to you if you want to make ends meet.
I might be taking you up on that. We do have a busy day tomorrow with some of the other contracts that I do already have in place. But don't you worry. You go ahead and tell the manager up there that I'll be talking to him within the next 2 days, and we'll have everything squared away. I can guarantee that. Okay?
So Taylor interjects and basically says,
I mean, I don't know, Pharaoh. I feel like we could go without you tomorrow. If you want to stay here and pay off your debt, that's fine with us.
No, I do not think I'll be doing that. I think I will be joining the rest of you because I am just as much a part of this group as you are. In fact, even more so, I'd say.
No say.
It just seems strange that you're trying to delay this process. You told us on the way here. You're loaded currently. Why not just pay it all?
No say is gonna step forward in between the two of them, and on this Master of Ceremony, she's gonna cast Charm Person.
Oh,
And try to
okay.
get us out of this.
It's a wisdom saving throw.
Yes. 13.
That is, he succeeds. He rolled very high. And you see for a moment, almost if there was a sprinkle of pixie dust over him that makes his eyes sparkle for ever such a moment, but he shakes it clear and goes, "I beg your pardon, did you just try to enchant me or something?"
Oh no, that just happens whenever I meet somebody new. Hello, I'm No Say.
And they extend their hand forward and shake it and say, "Don't think that you can cheat a cheater, my dear. I know magic when I see it. And we won't be having any of that in the Fortune's glory.
I interject real quick, and I kind of am like, oh, don't mind her. As you can see, she is from a faraway land. This is how they say hello over there. And I kind of look over to Nose, and I start doing symbols with my hands. And I say, Nose, why don't you go wait over there while me and this con man have a word? Do you understand?
Savage! How droll, Pharaoh. How very droll. You really do associate with the most interesting companions. And this little one here, this little tiny, adorable little thing, who is this?
This one, don't even talk to this one. This one is dangerous criminal.
Oh, this is
I'm actually bringing him.
Couldn't possibly hurt a fly, so
No, you don't want.
Enchanted. Isn't he just so precious?
Drek looks up to
baby.
Pharaoh and he's like, this guy is making me angry.
I quickly ascertain the situation as this is going very poorly right now. So I kind of grab him by the shoulder, grab my hand around his shoulder, and kind of pull him to the side a bit. And I'm like, Zarkon, now, if you don't mind, these people have had a very, very tough day. And we do need to get ourselves some sleep because we have quite a big day. And as I said, I do want to go ahead and square off all those accounts that I have. So don't you worry about this. I'll take good care of him. I'll show him around and everything. Just you go ahead and get some things prepared. Have them sent up to my room, some refreshments and things of that nature. We might be coming down a little bit to gamble. I'm not sure. We'll figure that out. But we just need to make these people as comfortable as possible. And trust you, that is to my benefit as well as yourself. If you get my drift. These people are hard to control if they are unhappy.
Right, will it be your usual then? One girl or two?
Ooh. Spicy.
Does everyone else hear that, or is that only between them two?
He did pull him aside. So if you want to make a perception check to overhear, feel free.
Oh, I want to make a perception check.
I think we're all rolling perception at this point.
I got a 22.
You heard.
I got an 18.
You heard.
19.
You all heard.
Okay. Jesus Christ.
Drek interrupts. He says, 2 girls.
Make it 2, yes, 2 girls.
All right. As you can see, my friends, they are, like I said, they're a rowdy bunch, to say the least.
And your finest rum.
Oh, rum and girls. Very good.
You know what?
Very good.
We'll actually hold off on the women tonight. Thank you very much, sir. But we'll go ahead and pass on that. But do go ahead and bring us up to a little bit of rum. If he doesn't get a nip before bedtime, he is.
He should have some coffee.
And some coffee too for the morning, please.
Of course.
Black bean, heavy roast. You know the bunch.
We'll certainly get you your special rooms, sir. Only the best for Pharaoh.
Yes, and I'm going to look back at Taylum and I'm going to say, anything for you, Taylum? And then before he can say anything, I'm just going to look back at him and immediately say, nope, he's all good. So yeah, we'll square it away now. We'll go ahead and we'll meet you upstairs.
And you see Zarkon then snap to in the direction of one of the stewards. They come over, show you up to your rooms. And in spite of the impression that Zarkon had left on you that these were going to be Pharaoh's very best rooms, they are in fact a dive. It looks like a converted storage closet. There's cots on the ground. There's rats scattering about the corners. And this is a really high-class establishment, so it's quite astonishing that they keep such a derelict room in the premises. So
it is suddenly quite astonishing to me as well.
Drek doesn't understand, and he's like, this is really nice. Oh, they really like you here.
It's a castle. I'm going to say home sweet home. I mean, what can I say? This usually, you see, they're renovating upstairs, so this isn't my normal room. They offered to put me in some big fancy hotel room down the street, and I said no, of course not. I want to put them into trouble. I can survive off of these measly things right here, so don't worry. Well, I'm sure within the next few nights we'll be back into my normal room, so don't you worry. I said that to Nose, mostly Nose, but the general group.
Nose is just kind of looking him up and down, and she's gonna glance down at Drek and be like, what do you think?
Drek just kind of looks around. Is there a haystack nearby?
no haystacks. It is inside.
What?
Trying to find someplace comfy.
There's 4 cots.
There's a cot.
Probably that would be more suited for like a refugee camp, perhaps. But
Beautiful. So Drek just kind of goes over to the cot. He kind of struggles to get up initially on top of the cot, and then just kind of plops down and closes his eyes.
I say, Taylor, you could stay wherever you want, so you could just pick a place. Doesn't even have to be in this room.
You know what? That's actually a good idea. I might go spend some time downstairs.
I encourage that. You know what? In fact, there's a great place if you want to just get a little bit of night air. I know a great place that you could go. The air's so sweet over there. The view is astonishing. You would love it. As a man that is a foreigner to this wonderful area, you would really love it. What's the most dangerous part of Bilgewater? D&D?
It would probably be back down in the slums of Ruttown. Go into one of those bars, and you're as likely to come out with 2 black eyes as you are a buzz.
What's one of the bars there in Rattown?
You could go to the Brazen Hydra, for example.
Okay, Brazen Hydra. All right. Was it? It's this place right in Rattown. Now, don't let the name fool you. Go down to Rattown. You go find this place called the Brazen Hydra, and you tell them that I sent you, and I promise they will take good care of you. If you want to go that far, that is.
Oh, I definitely look forward to not checking that out.
Fair enough. And I just walk away and I go lay down on my cot.
So,
and then,
funnily enough, I don't actually sleep. I trance. So I usually do that just sitting. We don't really have beds where I'm from.
Is this a bonus to the stare down feat? I don't even close my eyes to sleep anymore. I've ascended beyond sleeping now with this feat.
Is this creepy thing, like when people are supposedly sleeping but their eyes are still open? It's just like that.
Yeah, exactly. You don't sleep, you said.
No, I only need about 4 hours in a trance, and it's the same as you cute, soft little humans getting a whole 8 hours of actual sleep.
Well, that's fine. They probably did not take into account the beauty rest that I need on an average day, obviously. So that's fine. You can go ahead, and if you want, that bed looks a little uncomfortable anyways. You can go ahead and meditate or whatever it is that you want to do. I'll make sure I'll protect you at all times. Even when I'm asleep, I'm very light sleeping. I'll be able to make sure that no harm comes to us during your meditation time.
Nose is just gonna roll her eyes, and she's gonna look at Taylum and be like, about what time do you think you'll be back?
Not sure. Could be a big night. Who knows?
If I stay awake for the first 4 hours, do you think you could come back so I could trance before we have to leave?
Tell you what, give me an hour, and I'll look after the place for the rest of the night.
Perfect. Because given the reception that we received when they saw Pharaoh, I do not trust leaving this room unguarded through the night.
Agreed.
And with that, he walks out the door and heads back downstairs.
Okay.
So Nose is gonna get ready just to settle in and wait. And to do so, she's taking off her cloak, and she has some over garment sort of things, and she's moving.
I'm going to go over to Drek, and I'm gonna say lean into that way Nose doesn't hear or anything, and I'm gonna say, you know what? I know a fantastic place in here to get a little bit of rum. What do you think about that?
Do I have to go somewhere? I thought the rum was coming to us.
Not far. Come here. I'll show you real quick. And I just walk over 10 feet, just further away in the area to get further away from Nose, and towards the bathroom area a little bit.
It's cute that you think there's a attached bathroom.
I was just thinking that. Is there a bathroom here? As I walk out of my bed area, is there a closed door to my bed area? I'm assuming
it's one room with 4 cots.
It's a hovel.
Well, I that's what I mean. Like it but there is a closable door to my room.
Somewhere you
right?
can find some privacy.
Okay. There's a piece of cloth that you can slide left and right.
Yeah. It's like a hospital. You just drag
There's bees.
You,
curtain across.
you did me so dirty on this. I don't know what did I do to you? I'm going to once I bring him like out of the area, I'm just gonna say no. So I'm just gonna show him the restroom real quick. Don't worry though. You know, I'll be right back. And as I bring him out, I'm gonna be like, all right, you know what I think you should do? They have some of the finest rum, exactly where Talum told me he was going in secret a little bit ago.
Really?
I think you should go and tail him, and not only get yourself some rum, but keep an eye on him. Make sure that you can see what he's doing. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I don't know why I gotta keep an eye on him, but I'm definitely down to get that rum.
Yeah, and I'll even give you some more rum whenever you're back.
More
What do you think
rum.
about that?
Oh.
More rum.
Wow.
It's like a child with candy, but instead it's alcohol.
Okay. All right.
All right, scurry off now. You remember, you want to stay in the shadows. Don't let him find out that you're following him, okay?
Oh, okay. Okay.
All right, you go off now. And then I kind of look out as he, kind of prances away, and I seem kind of satisfied with myself, and I'm like, there we go. All right. And then I turn back around, I go back into the room, and I'll say, I'm sorry about that. No, say it looks like our furry little friend, he's having some stomach issues, so I had to go ahead and show him the restroom, and he's going to be in there for a good bit. But, you and I have some alone time now, so, maybe we can get to know each other a little bit better, something like that.
I'm picturing that Pharaoh very sinisterly shut the door as he was saying this. Just to
Whoa.
Yeah,
Let's
just
not
sinister-
change the narrative here.
It's like you want to wear her as an external
Let's not
skin.
get too grim here. Let's not get too dark. Done with us for now.
All right, Taylor, what are you up to?
All right, so Talum heads back downstairs, and what was the name of the concierge type guy? Zarkon, okay. So he heads back down onto Zarkon and approaches him with a very sort of as warm a smile as Talum can produce.
Hello again, my good friend.
Oh, you're Pharaoh's friend, aren't you?
Well, more of associate, I suppose. But look, I just wanted to come down. I know that you seem very concerned about making sure that the house gets paid. And look, as his new accountant, I want to make sure that that happens for you. We have a big payday tomorrow. Why don't you tell me all about that debt? How much is he deep to you two?
Make a persuasion check for me.
Okay.
You better fail that roll.
Ooh, that's going to be 4 on the roll plus 4. That's only going to be an 8.
Zarkon replies, I'm sorry, what was your name again?
Talum, friend.
And you're his accountant.
Well, accountant, enforcer, I'm a man of many hats.
And may I ask, why is it that you're asking after his accounts? Not that I don't want to dissuade you from settling things. It has been a while. But I would much prefer to know that I am dealing with the right person.
Of course, and you're a fine businessman for making sure you're doing your due diligence. Look, the reality is we both know that he's a man of many different persuasions, if you know what I'm saying. He has many vices. And look, sometimes he puts that money where he's not supposed to. So my job is to make sure that the money goes where it's supposed to.
You slide that roll.
You do have him in one. It's a very apt description. It's running in the order of 50 gold pieces? 50 gold krakens at this point?
That's a lot of women.
It's a lot of women, a lot of other things too.
Would I be rolling a perception check for a certain tiny friend that may have walked into the room at this point?
Yeah, go for it. That's if Drek has followed you down.
So Drek is kind of he's a little half awake right now, and he's going down the stairs, and he's not like being sly at all. Yeah, I feel like he should just have advantage or something like that. So.
Well, if he's not hiding, should I just see him?
Yeah.
Or do we need to roll for this?
That's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So he basically says,
Listen, Zarkon, I'll make sure that tomorrow afternoon when we return from this job that you're paid in full. When he comes back in, he will have all the money that you need on his person. That I can guarantee you.
And if he doesn't?
Well, look, I'm not his keeper. If you need to do what you need to do to encourage him to pay up, that's up to you. You have that discretion as a business owner.
Well, that is a very interesting proposition. He was saying that he had a very big score tomorrow. I don't suppose you could,
Oh, you have no idea. To be honest, I'd be trying to fleece him for a tip if I was you.
Darling, I've been fleecing him for a tip for a while now. There are points on top of this after all. I don't suppose you could tell me, what this job is?
Oh, I'd love to, friend, but trust me, the level of danger on this one, you don't want to know. Listen, let me save you a trip, though, as one man doing a favor for another man. My friend over here...
Actually, my preferred pronoun is they, if you don't mind.
Yes.
Oh, I'm terribly
yes,
apologetic,
yes.
darling. I had no idea. Listen, let me save you a trip. I feel terrible. Why don't you give me the rum that you intended to the room, and I'll take it up there myself.
And put it on Master Pharaoh's account, of course.
Oh, absolutely. He asked for it. I'm just going to save you the trouble of taking it upstairs.
Make a persuasion check for me.
All right, let's hope this one goes better than the last one.
You're the absolute worst.
Oh my god, that's only it's only going to be a 2, so 6 total.
Oh, thank
A
God.
6. He says, I really wish that you'd roll better than... He said...
Me too.
I don't.
Look, I'll give you the bottle of rum. We'll ask after the debt tomorrow of Master Pharaoh, but he has good credit here. Perhaps we don't need to go so far as the proverbial breaking of legs quite yet. Unless you had something else in mind for settling the debt.
Not
Who's
at
the
this
Zarkon
particular
guy?
time.
What the-
Maybe after
What?
a few rums, I'll report back.
Well, while they're talking, Drek notices Talon for the first time, and he forgets that he's supposed to be like sneakily following him, and he just like shouts out. He's like, "Talon, Talon!" And then he kind of like just hobbles over to him, and he's like, "Where's the rum? I thought we were supposed to get rum in the room."
I was just procuring it for you now, my little friend.
Oh yeah, we were supposed to put it on Pharaoh's tab. He told us that, right? Yeah.
2 bottles then, will
Absolutely.
it be?
Yeah, 2, maybe, 2, 3 bottles just to be safe.
And the top shelf, of course.
Oh yeah, I mean, this is Pharaoh, right? Come on.
Don't they have rolls for this or something?
Well, that'll be, I suppose that'll be another 3 gold on top. Very good. And he snaps again, and the bottles of rum are produced for you.
Drek just grabs them all, and he's like, "I'll meet you back in the room, all right?" And then just heads back to the room. 3 bottles of rum,
The good stuff.
the good stuff.
And then
And he's not spying on Talon at all. So
Zarkon finally turns to you, Talum, and says, well, thank you for the conversation and for the update. It's certainly a good thing to see that Master Pharaoh finally has someone to look after his accounts. He's not the best with money. You've probably already been able to ascertain that. But in the future, if you think that he's going to come into a windfall and might be able to eventually or finally settle accounts, do let us know, won't you?
Oh, I will. Can I ask for one last favor, friend?
Certainly.
Listen, we want to make sure that he makes it to this job tomorrow. Can I borrow a chair and just set up a security post out the front of the door?
I don't see why not.
Forever in your debt, my friend. If there's anything I can do for you next time I see you, please let me know.
So that he takes a chair, heads back on upstairs, and then basically works out the best vantage point so he can kind of see anyone coming near the door, but he's also got his back against a wall. So basically, he's setting up a shop so if anyone comes in that hallway, he can fire off a shot if need be to protect our little crew.
No worries. You will need to rest eventually, just FYI.
Do I?
Well, you don't have to, but you'll take a point of exhaustion if you don't long rest. Which is
I mean,
up to
I
you.
can sleep in the chair.
Yep, sure. Okay, Drek, you return to the room with 3 bottles of top shelf rum. What does he discover when he returns into the room? Unless there was something that Pharaoh and Nose wanted to do in the meantime.
I'll let you decide.
Picking
Yeah.
up where we left off, Nose is gonna level her gaze at him and be like, cutting through your bullshit. She's like, why? Why do you always want me alone with you?
Well, if I am to be honest, I think that you are one of the most dazzling creatures I've ever seen. I've never seen any one of your kind before. I mean, I've seen people of your kind. I've seen Vestians, obviously. There's quite a few here, in fact. But I've never seen quite one as exotic as you, and I'm quite interested. For many reasons, but mostly because of something that I need done in the future, as I mentioned to you on our first meeting. And I just wanted to explore a little bit more about what your capabilities are. And I can't do it around these people that we have near us now, especially this Taylum character, which I'm very unsure about.
Capabilities, huh?
Capabilities. I say that a little flirtily.
She's gonna walk across the room, and are you sitting on the bed?
I am now.
And she's gonna put one hand on either side of like your thighs as you're sitting there, and she's gonna lean in and be like, "Oh, darling, I can show you so many capabilities." And she's going to kiss Pharaoh, but then you feel sleepy.
Make a constitution save for me, Pharaoh.
Ripping out that poison ivy. I love it.
All right, so you said a constitution save?
Yep.
All right, that is a 6 for the roll, and then constitution is +4, so it's a 10.
All right, Nose, do you want to describe what happens?
So I imagine that Pharaoh's face is just like lit up, and he is so excited, and like his hand is coming up to like go behind her head and pull her into the kiss, but it like makes it a couple inches off the bed, and he's just out. Like out cold, and he like kind of slumps forward, and she's like, "Oh my god, you peacock," and pushes him back onto the bed and goes back and sits and waits for Taylum to come back.
Okay,
So,
Drek and Taylum, you guys come back to the room.
Yeah, so right as that happens, Drek walks into the room with 3 bottles. One is already half drunk, and he's like, "Oh, he passed out super early. Okay, so more for us." And then I toss a bottle to Nose.
And Nose is gonna like swig it around her mouth like mouthwash, and like rinse the taste of river filth out of her mouth.
Taylum, what are you up to?
Yeah, so I'm just going to come into the door, basically see this scene in front of me, and just basically sort of show him the chair.
All right, I'll take first watch, I suppose.
And then just drag the chair down into that position.
Drek turns around and says, "Before you go," and then he throws him the other bottle.
Wow, Drek's giving up rum?
Drek likes to make sure everyone has a little bit of rum in them, so you know he's a party animal.
Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, Taylum catches it and says,
Oh, so much generosity. I can't believe that you paid for that by yourself downstairs.
and just gives him a wink.
I wish I was awake right now.
Drek is a little confused because he's a little slow, but then he's like, "Oh, yeah."
All right. So Taylum, you set up in your chair, taking first watch. Drek, Nose, what are you guys doing?
So Drek turns to Nose and he's like, "Have you ever played the game Ear Slaps?"
She's going to like reach down and kiss him on the forehead to put him to sleep.
Make a constitution save for me.
Okay.
I feel like at this point, your character should almost be like named Ro Hypnon.
16.
16. Your long days of drinking have built up some sort of strange tolerance to toxins. And for a moment, you feel a tingle emanate from the kiss on your head. But you wouldn't for a second think that had anything to do with any sort of herbalist concoction, as opposed to perhaps maybe this is love. Maybe this is maybe this is special. Like, well, this isn't natural. This isn't normal.
That's sweet.
So Drek kind of looks up into Nose's eyes and he starts to blush under his fur. And you're like, "Oh, wow. So, yeah. What were we talking about?"
You were saying that you were going to get ready to get some rest, and I was going to trance so that I can relieve Taylum in a few hours.
Oh, that's right. And then Drek looks over to his bottle and takes the last swig of it, and then he plops right onto the cot and passes out.
All right, perfect. Taylor, make a perception check for me while you're on watch.
Okay. So that's going to be that, my friend, is a natural 1.
Okay. You fall asleep
God.
about 20 minutes into your watch. And then 4 hours later, you come out to find Taylum asleep at the proverbial wheel when you were to take over from him on watch.
So I'll walk up to him and tap him, like stand as far away as I can, because she's guessing his reaction is going to be swift and violent. So she's going to stand her tail's length away and tap him on the shoulder with her tail to wake him up.
And as he wakes up, she was exactly right. She just hears a click and realizes that his pistol was in his hand. And he didn't obviously realize he was going to fall asleep. And his natural reaction is obviously to wake up confused and assume that someone's trying to take his stuff. So then he realizes it's her and just says,
Oh, I have no idea how that happened.
It's not a problem. Go on, go take your rest. I will stand watch for the rest of the night.
Perfect. Okay. Make a perception check for me.
Okay. Oh, that is a dirty 20.
Nice.
I thought you were going to say nat 20. It's like the complete opposite of what I was. I'm surprised with a nat 1 I'm not still in a coma.
Critical fail.
So your watch goes uneventfully. It is very in the morning by the time that the last patrons depart the establishment. But you are awake and alert when the first rays of sunshine come in through the windows, and you all complete a long rest. It is now the next day.
Beautiful.
Woohoo.
Nice.
All right. Healing up.
So as you're all awake and you descend into the common room of the establishment, Fortune's Glory, there are a few drunk patrons that are slumped over, passed out at a few tables here and there. You see some street urchins going about cleaning the common room. The rest of the city is beginning to awake and get about its business. And the day is yours. It is still morning. You know that the meeting, if you wish to attend it, is at midday, and that you'll have to make your way down to almost the exact opposite end of Bilgewater. But it is up to you how you wish to spend your day.
Question: Does this establishment come with a complimentary breakfast?
Good
Oh
question.
no, that will be extra. But it turns out that one is provided for you. Zarkon took the initiative to put it on Pharaoh's tab, and you enjoy a full cooked
Have a
hot
talk
breakfast.
with Zarkon about the liberals he takes with people's money.
It's a full continental breakfast, but with all the extra added. It's got the bacon, eggs added on, pancakes, juices, various coffee, tea. It's quite the spread, which you can only imagine has grossly inflated the already large debt that was accumulating on Pharaoh's tab. So, compliments of Zarkon.
As I walk in, or more like compliments of me. I guess we walk in and we see this, and I'm like, well, it looks like breakfast is on me. And then I look over to Zarkon, and I give him a dirty and exhausted look.
And Zarkon is going over his books, a small pair of spectacles perched on the end of their nose, and looks at you and gives you a nod and the slightest glance down at the ledger in front of him.
This is the most passive aggressive. So I partake in the food because I'm gonna get what I pay for it. So I'm gonna eat everything.
So with Pharaoh and Drek at the table, Nose is gonna look at them and say, so we have some time before we have to meet this courier. You've both been in Bilgewater for a while. Do you know if there is any type of house of worship or magic user or mage or wise person that we could go to try to get more information about this. And she's gonna hold up her hand that has the black spot in it.
I'm going to say, well, actually, can I check my history on this?
Yeah, go for it. Make a history check.
Yeah.
Both of you can make a history check if you want.
Okay. Yeah. 17 for me.
Mine's an 8. So I'm just going to say, actually, that's not really my scene, so I am not quite sure. I stay away from those places. But maybe Drek over here, I did see him flirting with a particular type of woman in that bar that night that we all met. Maybe he might know a little bit more.
So, Drek, you recall that, yes, there is the Temple of Nagakaburus, which is at the Ares end of Butcher's Bridge, and that will be a place of worship devoted to the god of the Buru people.
So Drek responds to Nose, and he's like, and he's a little awkward because he's got history with Buru people, and he's like, we could go to the Buru temple, but we don't have to. But I mean, that would be a place that we could go to find out more information. But you know, if Pharaoh has a better idea, we could go with that one too.
Pharaoh, with your role, you did think of another place. Though you did, you weren't inaccurate in your statement that that's not really your area of expertise. But you are aware of a purveyor of magic and strange, powerful concoctions known as Madame Montessa's Menagerie of Magical Marvels.
That's a great name.
Oh my God! What magic? Hold on one second. Let me write this down real quick. All right, what is it called?
Madame Montessa's Menagerie of Magical Marvels.
You said Madame Montessa's Menagerie of Magical Marvels, correct? Yes. All right. Yeah, I actually come to think of it. Although I am interested to maybe go to this place that Drek seems awkwardly trying to avoid going to. I would like to see what the deal is with that out of curiosity. I do know another place. It's not quite like what he was talking about. It's kind of an adjacent type of magic, and it's called Madame Montessa's Menagerie of Magical Marvels. Or 5 M's as we call it for short.
Oh Lord.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna need you to repeat that again 3 times fast.
5 M's, 5 M's, 5 M's.
So the Buru one would be on our way, correct?
Yeah.
And what about the magical menagerie? Madame Montessa's Menagerie of Magical Marvels.
That would be it's in Rat Town, so it's sort of on your way as well.
Well, it sounds like these are both on our trip today anyway, so why not stop at both?
I suppose we could do both.
Or just one. We don't have to do both. We can just go.
No, we should do both, I think. In fact, if anything, I think we should do the Bahuru one, because that would be that'd be very interesting to go to. But I do have a little bit of history with the 5 M's. So, you know, if we want to avoid that one instead, then that's totally fine with me.
Nope, we're going to both.
Okay.
Okay. So you descend down through the Ares until you reach Butcher's Bridge. The sprawling temple of Nagakaburus rises above one end of it, connecting Rat Town with the Ares. At the western end of the bridge, you can see a heavy wooden gate. This is the opposite end, which is designed to barricade the upper levels of the city against threats coming from port. The temple is remarkably well maintained. Standing outside its closed doors are 2 Buru women, dressed in armor made to resemble sea monsters and armed with barbed spears and shields.
So Drek is looking for something to kind of like cover his face. Like, can he see if there's like any paper rolling around or anything like that? Like,
Drek, why are you trying to cover your face?
No, I'm not doing that. I just saw something on the ground that looked interesting. So
looked like you were trying to cover your face. I'm sorry.
So totally ignoring this, Nose is gonna walk up to the 2 Buru women and be like, hello, I know this is probably unusual, but I am a traveler from a far land, and we are here seeking guidance on a magical and nautical issue and thought maybe you would be able to help us.
Greetings, traveler. What is it that you seek exactly? It is unusual for people who are not of the islands to be allowed entry to our temple.
We are looking for a answer to this, and she's gonna hold her palm up with the black mark in it.
You can see they suddenly taken aback. The other one sort of quickly does a hand motion over their chest, which is the Buru equivalent of a little, the cross of more Christian faiths. And the one whom you're talking to says, "Oh, that is dark magic. That is a dark curse."
Yes, and we are trying very hard to see if there is a way that we can circumvent this. I am from a religion that worships nature, and I see that you are in a similar vein, yes?
We worship the great mother serpent, if that is what you mean. We worship strength. We worship and revere those who pursue their path to its natural end. If you have been afflicted with a curse such as this, then that is a obstacle that you will need to overcome through your own strength of will. If it is meant to be, then you will achieve it.
So you don't have any wise men or wise women or healers that would be able to help us with this thing?
Well, it is possible that someone inside may be able to provide advice, but I do not see why we would need to assist you with such a matter. If it is your fate for you to suffer the consequences of what has led you to become the bearer of such a mark, then we are not to interfere unless you can prove that you are worthy of our assistance in some way.
Nose stares her down.
Stare down, feet engaged.
Yeah, oh, really?
Yeah.
right.
I'm gonna just stare down.
Make an intimidation check for me.
Okay. Oh god. Oh, it's a natural 20.
Of course it is.
I
Of
didn't
course
want-
it is.
My God.
We have to. I feel like with a natural 20, we really do actually have to put this feat into her thing now. Like, I feel like it's only fair. We need to put this
Yeah,
in
this
the
is a
D&D
thing.
Beyond now.
Yeah, the eyes of Nose or something.
Yeah.
The final person that you use this on that it eventually resists this, I think that's going to be the end boss of this game.
Yeah, that's gonna
Yeah,
be the
that's
big
it.
bad
Yeah, we
evil
know
guy.
it at that point.
And with that, you see the guard look deep into your eyes, and a smile breaks across her lips and face, and she says, there is great spirit in you. I believe the mother serpent smiles upon you and has put this test before you for you to prove your strength. If you are up to the test, then whatever help we give you, whatever help we can give you, it will not be the thing that makes the final decision on the matter. You will be the final arbiter on your own fate. But we are willing to allow you entry. Will you require it also for these men servants of yours?
Nose is gonna turn around and she's gonna look at the guy.
I'm already rolling my eyes.
Drek is like face the other way, kind of kicking the ground, like pretending like he's doing something. So yeah.
Taylor fully leads into it and puts like basically a deep bow and just basically says,
Whatever it is your will, my majesty.
Yes, your majesty, what can we do for you?
Drek throws a thumbs up. So
Nose will say, yes, if it's not too much trouble, my servants should be within my eyesight. They tend to find mischief without my discerning eye on them.
Yes, I imagine they do. Especially, and she points at Drek, that one. That one is known to our people. We call him the one of many fingers.
I lift him up at this point and like take off anything that he was using to like cover his face, and I'm like, "This one right here."
Yes, that is the one.
I scramble and I'm like, put me down, put me down.
I still hold on to him.
We have other names for him in our language.
Really? What is that?
It is a loose translation.
Oh, okay.
Drek, knowing like the gig is up, he just walks up to him. He's like, "Is Leilani here?"
She is. She doesn't want to see you.
She doesn't want to see. What? Let me see Leilani. Come on.
Boys, and Nose's gonna give them a very stern look. We need to get this information. So, if you can just keep it together for just a few more minutes, I would be eternally grateful, because I don't know about you, but I prefer not to die because of this mark. And if you want to, that's fine. Go on a suicide mission, whatever. But I'm coming in and getting answers. Are you going or not?
Turned on by her strength and independence as a woman. Pharaoh.
Nice tag.
Of a starring woman who don't need no man.
That's right.
Exactly. Pharaoh goes ahead and says, "Yes, ma'am. I will do just that. I will follow you to the ends of the earth." Just kind of like continuing on with the whole act here, just with a little bit more enthusiasm this time.
Drek, he just goes, "Yeah, that works."
Okay.
So, before we go in, Nose's gonna turn to the Buru woman she's been talking to and say, "What is your name, friend?"
My name is Oleana. And yours?
"My name is Nose," and she's gonna predator handshake her.
Nice. Yeah. It's an Arnie Carl Weathers moment for the ages. And so the guard leads you inside into the heart of the temple, a large courtyard shaped like the fanged mouth of a leviathan and decorated with statues of serpents. An empty dais sits at the center. In one of the side halls you see an acolyte of the temple filling a bowl with fruit, which sits before a carved depiction of the mother serpent. The acolyte is a woman of the Buru and turns to greet you at your approach. "I am Leilani, acolyte of the mother serpent. Non-believers are not allowed in here without good cause. What is it?" And she stops and sees Drek and says, "Oh no."
I push him forward more.
Drek, I thought we talked about this. No means no, okay?
This is different, okay? This isn't the usual thing. So, and then Drek kind of just like slowly opens his hand in front of her, and she can see the black mark.
And she hears this intake of breath and says, "What has happened to you? How did you receive this?"
And then I turn to Pharaoh and I go, "This guy opened up a curse, and we all got it. So
We all
we're
agreed to
kinda-
open up the curse together. It was a collective decision. My hands
He didn't
were
ask
just
for
on the
my
chest.
input at all.
You smelled
so-
disgusting, and you were getting a bath, and you were loving every second of it. I didn't hear you say anything to the contrary.
Well, yeah, I was distracted.
Nose's
so
gonna
it's
put
not
her
my
hand
fault.
over top of Pharaoh's mouth and just like shush him.
And then Drek turns around after arguing with Pharaoh, and he's like, "But anyways, can you help?"
It is not an easy thing to rectify, as you can imagine. But first tell me, why must we provide you with assistance? You are not one of our people.
Nose is going to step forward, and is there like a place to like make offerings? Like,
There is
where she
the shrine at which you're standing and in which she was making an offering to of fruit.
So next to her offering, Nose is gonna pull some remarkably well preserved flowers out of her cloak pocket that are very Hoovian looking. They look very alien because they're Ionian, and they kind of still move almost as if there's a breeze rustling them. And she lays them next to the bowl that has the offering, and she looks at, what's her name again? I forgot. Leilani?
Leilani.
There we go. She looks at Leilani and says, "I cannot vouch for the rest, but I myself am a devotee to the god of my land. And I truly believe that though they are not the smartest creatures that have ever blossomed on this planet, this group of ragtag scallywags are not bad men. So, I am here as one believer to another to beseech you for some sort of guidance. I have no idea where to start with this kind of magic, and I would be doing a enormous disservice to my own people if I were to fail because of this just arriving here on the continent.
Make a persuasion check for me.
I pretend like my eyes are teary from the speech.
That's a 9.
A 9.
Yeah.
Leinani gives you a haughty look down her nose and says, "You are not one of our people and your gods are not ours. But you could prove yourself. You could first prove your devotion to the Mother Serpent. Is that something you would be prepared to do?"
What are we talking about?
The waters around our islands are filled with her children. Your people, looking in your direction, Pharaoh, hunt them mercilessly, in spite of our warning. Here is how you may gain our trust. Join one of the slaughter fleets going to sea. Save the life of one of the Mother Serpent's children. Bring us proof of your victory, and then we may be prepared to help you.
Nosei's gonna turn around and look at the group and just kind of shrug and turn back to Leinani and be like, "Fine, deal."
I'm gonna lean in. I'm gonna say, have you ever tried to get between a fisherman and his kill in Bilgewater? It's almost impossible. That's basically
I don't know,
suicide.
you've got kind of an expert on deck here. I've got quite the talent for putting holes in boats.
That's for sure. Well, all right. What about if we give you money? Is money instead? Is that an option on the table, or is this like a pure faith thing?
Drek, while he says money, Drek just rolls his eyes like he doesn't know anything.
And Leinani responds, "We are not interested in the pretty things you dig out of the ground and consider to have value. We know where true value lies, in one's spirit and will. And only through great feats of strength and courage can one prove their mettle. You will do as we ask, or we will not entertain any further conversation."
How long do we have? How much time?
How much time until this mark runs its course and takes its prize?
A month?
Then that is how long you have, if you wish to leave it until the last moments. I would recommend that you fulfill your task sooner.
Nosei's gonna nod her head and look down at Drek and look at Leinani and say to Leinani, "Do you want to speak alone to the Yorto before we go?"
Drek is just like, "No, you don't have to do that. That's okay." So I appreciate
I think they should
what you're
speak.
doing.
I think they should speak.
It is okay.
Speak.
We should have a moment, perhaps.
So,
If this is the last chance that we will have to talk
Nosei
about
will
anything serious or in a serious way. Come, Drek. He of many fingers, come. And she leads you away from the others down the hallway a little.
And Nosei,
I look back at the others in, like, dread.
She's gonna keep the boys at bay, and like
What?
Pharaoh doesn't know, but she has her tail prepared to like snare his ankle if he tries to get closer to eavesdrop.
I was literally about to ask if I could do a stealth and eavesdrop a bit.
You can try. Did you want to try and sneak in anyway?
Since she knows, like, I assume it would end up causing like a bit of a tussle. Cause I think she would physically stop me, so I guess
I would say you can make an opposed grappling check, the two of you, But even if you do succeed, we'll give you disadvantage on your stealth. But it would mean that you would be able to sneak closer if you want.
I'm gonna go ahead and do it then. So I have disadvantage on the stealth if I succeed, correct?
Correct. Nose, make an athletics check, and Pharaoh, you can make an acrobatics or athletics check to break the grapple.
So that is a 15 plus a... Wait, you said strength or athletics?
Yeah, acrobatics or athletics.
Oh, acrobatics, good. All right, so that's a +2 on top of that?
Oh, I got a nat 1.
Okay, so you don't even manage to grab onto him.
No.
I just push aside her tail.
Yeah, you manage to sneak by the tail, and you see Pharaoh suddenly creep over in the direction of the hallway in the corner that they've disappeared around. Make a stealth check for me with disadvantage.
Okay. Oh, shoot, I can't use that one. I got a 12 and a 20, but I can't use the 20, so that's a 12 plus stealth. Oh, I have a lot of stuff actually. Plus 4, so that is going to be a 16 total.
Drek, make a perception check for me.
15.
15, okay. You are not aware that Pharaoh is listening on your conversation as Leilani takes you aside, turns to you, looks deeply into your eyes and says, "You broke my heart, Drek."
You know me. I'm a free spirit. You can't just.
She was
lock
my
me down.
sister. How dare you?
I understand, but it was no hard feelings. It was just things happen.
No hard feelings
on
that you
that
slept
ship.
with his sister?
How's she doing? Is she doing okay?
You should be asking how I am doing. You
how
made
are you
promises to
doing?
me.
Oh, shit. Oh, no.
He getting the business.
Oh, no.
Is there something I can do to make up for the grievances that I've
I
caused?
thought I made it clear. I was never to see your face again.
I know, but this wasn't my idea. I didn't want to come here. I wanted to respect your wishes, but we got marked by GP.
If you fire your arrows of love in all directions, you will eventually pierce a heart. You have pierced my heart. You have pierced my sister's heart. You have pierced our aunt's heart.
Oh,
Wow.
busy boy.
He gets around.
I can't apologize enough for doing that. If you could find it in your heart to forgive me, maybe know what? I will save one of the Mother Serpent's children on top of another one. So just to make up for what I've done.
2 of the children you will save, and then we will help you.
2. Okay. Yes.
Big ones, not little ones. Big ones.
How big?
The biggest.
I shouldn't ask that. Okay. Give me some time. I will make it up to you. Okay, I promise.
You had better. Our grandmother
Yes, ma'am.
asks after you as well, but she is less distraught.
Dang.
Just waiting for Jerry Springer to come out and be like, let's bring him out here.
Okay, I'll make it up to you, but we should go back to the group, and we know what our mission is now, so we'll get it done.
I slide back over to the group knowing that their conversation is done, so that way he doesn't know I was listening.
Okay. Dreki returned to the group. Sends Leilani this time.
Yeah, so I'm walking back. I'm like, time to get out of here. We know what we have to do if we want their help getting rid of these marks. But didn't we want to go check out Madame Mentesi's Manageri?
Oh, we can always skip
something?
over that one. That one's not a big deal.
Oh,
No, we said
okay.
we said both. And when Drek comes back, Nose's gonna hold her hand out and say, "Let me see your paws."
I hesitate, but not wanting to piss off another woman, I go ahead and show her my paw.
And she counts all of his fingers. She's like, why do you call you many fingers? You have the normal amount of fingers. That makes absolutely no sense.
You know what? That's a good question. I don't know why they call me that either. So, yeah, it's kind of weird, right?
Pero, why do you think they call him many fingers? He does not have many.
Anyways, and I grab Nose's hand and start walking towards the exit.
And I'm gonna, as we walk out, I'm gonna look over at Pharaoh. Or, I'm sorry, not Pharaoh. I'm gonna look over at Drek and I'm gonna say, "Don't you want to say goodbye to a grandmother?"
I give him a nervous look and I just kind of scurry even faster to the door.
I yell back out to the what was her name? Leilani.
I start running towards the door,
and I'm like, Leilani, tell your sister I said hello as I walk out.
She just gives you a stern, unhappy look.
That then eventually turns into a smile.
The question mark at the end of that sentence was appropriate. Okay, where are you guys going next?
If it's on the way, the Magic Emporium before we try to meet the courier.
Okay. You find the shop in a tucked away alley in Rat Town. The smell of mold and incense assaults your senses even before you enter, and is eye-watering once you're inside. The shop is dimly lit, and you have to constantly dodge drying herbs and other unidentifiable objects hanging from the ceiling. The walls are lined with shelves holding glass jars containing preserved frogs and eyeballs and all manner of strange creatures and organs. From out of the smoky gloom strides a very tall, very pale woman dressed in a long black dress with sleeves to the wrist and a high collar, leaving no part of her body exposed. I am Madame Montessa, mistress of all things magical and malignant, devious and divine. Welcome to my apothecary. How may I serve?
I am like looking at stuff in the store, trying not to make eye contact with anyone in the store.
So Nose will go up to her and say, greetings, friend. I am here with my companions because we have been burdened with this. And she's gonna open her palm toward her and show her the black mark.
And she suddenly makes similar hand gestures that you saw before, but this time she spins 3 times and spits on the ground and says, "You have the mark. This is dark magic."
I assumed so. Do you have anything in your shop that could help us or perhaps guide us to an answer of how to get rid of this?
I will have to study it. I will have to study it indeed. And she takes a pin from the table and then, without even asking you, grabs your hand and pricks the mark on it, drawing blood. She takes it and wafts it under her nose. Says, "How have your humors been lately, my dear?"
Good?
And the consistency of your night soil?
Nose is going to look at her and be like, I don't think you're familiar with how Vestayan work, but we will say good to that as well.
You don't defecate, my dear?
I mean, we do, but as animals, you don't.
Drek interjects and he's like, "I defecate."
He makes up for all of us.
No matter. And she begins to gather some herbs and burn some incense and runs her hands through the smoke that it produces, and then says, "This curse may be broken, but it will require a number of components to which I do not have access. But you may be able to acquire these for me. Is that something you are willing to do?"
What kind of spell components?
Well, first, I will need you to hunt down an abyssal eye and bring back its scarlet eyeball. Once you have done that, we will see further what is required. And of course, there will have to be a small gold donation to ensure that my work is done in a timely manner. Only 50 gold pieces. 50 gold is all.
50 gold pieces, lady, I don't think so. And Nose's gonna turn around and very loudly say, Pero, let's go.
This is about your lives. Would you put such a number on your life, my dear?
I would not put such a number on my life, but it is shameful for you to be trying to profit off of those of us who are just trying to survive. As a fellow magic user, you should be ashamed.
Ashamed? I'm just trying to help.
Can Talon do an insight or a perception check to see if we think she's lying? Like, can she actually help us?
Go for it. Make an insight check.
Okay. That is going to be 13.
She seems genuine. She believes she can help you.
Can I do a check to see if she's actually, she actually has magic?
Yeah, make an insight check.
Okay. That's an 18.
18.
Hey-oh.
She doesn't... You don't think that she has any magical powers in the way that you do. That isn't to say that she doesn't make the kind of herbal remedies that you also can make, and whether or not you think those are magic or not is up for debate. But it is at this point that she turns and notices Pharaoh very engrossed in the penis of some sort of preserved bull in a jar, and she turns and says, Pharaoh.
Well, hello. I did not, I thought you were off today. I'm so sorry. I would have said hello earlier, but, yeah, how, are you good? You fine?
I've been better.
Well, we don't want to take up much of your time, so I think that maybe we should,
No, you never had time for me, have you?
well, I mean, time is of the essence, as they say. You should know that through all of your kinds of magic that you've shown me. So, the time that I did spend with you was magical, to say the very least, and I did not want to spoil it with more times like it.
But you always have been one to traffic in banal sayings and references, haven't you? Magical, indeed. I should think not.
Drek is listening to this conversation, and he just goes, "What kind of magic did you show him?"
I merely showed him the magic of someone who's willing to open their heart, and he chose to ignore it.
I always said that I was a wild horse galloping through our lovely town of Bilgewater, and that I could not be tied down to one person, even someone as beautiful and kind and at some points very scary as you.
Drek's eyebrow raises at the deja vu that he's experiencing.
And she turns and extends her hand and says, 50 gold, bring the abyssal eye, and I will remove the mark from all of you, and I will consider it for this one.
So at this point, Taylum steps forward and says,
50 gold is rather far priced, don't you think? Do you have any idea how much women and rum you could buy for 50 gold?
and gives Pharaoh a very knowing look.
She replies, well, I don't suppose that you'll be able to spend that much, given how many days are left on your ledger.
Well, the thing is, I feel like I could save you that money right now.
So he walks over to the nearest shelf, looks at it, and what would be the thing that he, in his mind, Shibi, would look like the most expensive thing on the shelf?
There's certainly like jars of whole creatures, and creatures that you don't even in fact recognize, that have clearly been harvested from the very deepest parts of the ocean.
Okay. In that case, I'm going to pick the most innocuous one instead. The one that looks like the least potentially lethal. And then basically taking the pistol out of his jacket, he like very slowly uses the barrel of the pistol to slide the jar to the end of the shelf until it falls down and smashes on the floor.
He says, oh, I'm so clumsy. Oh, this always seems to happen. Why don't we say that, I don't know, we waive the 50 gold price and maybe I leave before my clumsiness gets a little bit worse.
You're trying to stand over me, sir?
I wouldn't do that.
And then he does the same thing with the second jar.
I'm going to interject real quick, and I'm going to run over to him, and I'm going to try to catch the second jar that falls.
Okay, make a dexterity check for me.
Okay. Oh god, that's low. It's a 7 plus. Where's the dexterity? Plus 2, so that's a 9.
It just slips through your fingers, and the second jar smashes on the floor, and she says, I say, I am a businesswoman trying to make her way in the world, and this is just beyond the pale. Make an intimidation check for me.
Okay.
At this point, also, Pharaoh's gonna go ahead and say, like, whisper and lean to him and be like, I don't think you know what you're doing. She is very scary whenever you upset her. I would watch yourself. And then I kind of back off.
That's gonna be just a 12.
She says, Get out of my store. You will be receiving no help from me, I can assure you, no help at all.
So Nose is gonna say, so, just curious, what would this one have to do in order for us to get your help? And she's gonna, like, nod her head toward Pharaoh.
She looks at him and says, I believe, after my experiences with him, that he is the owner of certain physical attributes that I believe have magical properties. She continues, if he was willing to donate some of these, a sample or two perhaps, for magical purposes, then I might be willing to consider a reduction of price, as long as you continue to gather the things necessary that I've asked for.
I say, well, we should probably get going. We'll think about the offer. We will leave now. Goodbye. Everyone, let's go. We should leave right now.
So before we do that, Talon grabs Pharaoh by the jacket and leans in and says,
Look, why don't you ask her exactly how many items we need to get? There's no point going down this road if we don't know how much time we're
I
gonna
know what
waste.
she wants, and she's not getting what she wants.
What does she want?
She wants things that I can't give.
Like what?
Pharaoh gets very serious with him, and he takes this as a threat, and he narrows his eyes at him, and he says, I already said things that I can't give. And then he swats his hands away and says, and get your damn hands off me.
And how do you react?
yeah, I didn't resist it. I don't resist it. I let him go. I assume that I know what he's talking about.
She says, if you are not willing to deal, then I will ask you to leave my store. And you, sir, she points at you, Telum, you are a villain. And you are not allowed in here again.
I know, that seems like a rather vile accusation for a man who's simply clumsy from time to time.
I start walking out the door at this point.
I believe your clumsiness has ill intent behind it, if that is what you call it after all.
Well, I only dropped one glass. If you have a look, your friend here with the magic bean, so to speak, he dropped the second one.
Will you be going? Or do I need to summon someone with a little more physical intimidation?
No, we will be going. And Nose is gonna let the guys file out ahead of her. And as she's leaving, she's gonna run her hands through like all the dried herbs she has and reanimate them so they're like useless to her.
Okay, just get out, will you? You're ruining my business. I don't want to see any of you in my store again. Especially that one, she points at Tayloon. That one, points at Pharaoh. That one, points at Nose and says, that one I don't mind about. She points at
As we're all leaving, I'm holding the door for everyone to come out. I'm gonna go ahead and say to the group, like, well, that one didn't pan out, but we can't win them all. Let's go ahead and go the Buru route, and let's go ahead and save the fish that we need, and we can go ahead and call it a day.
So on that note, one of these ships, when they go out fishing, or whatever you want to call it, how many of these things would they actually capture in one trip?
History call on that?
yeah, go for it.
Okay.
I'm doing a history as well. Let's see. Oh, 6 for me.
All right, for me that is a... Ooh, that's an 18 plus 1, 19.
Yeah, you would know that they bring back, it depends on what they catch and how large the creatures are, but it's often fleets, there's often multiple vessels that go out, and so they can bring back multiple creatures, but these creatures can be immense. Krakens, sea serpents, down to dragon sharks, smaller things like that. Smaller is a relative term.
Right. Well, it really depends on the boat. The size of the boat, that's one thing. But they could bring in several to just one, depending on, what they can carry and how big the fish is. You have no idea how monstrous this thing can be. I mean, they're literally gigantic. So
in the interest of time for the Buru, do you think they'd accept it if we simply just burnt down a bunch of ships? If they never leave port, then, well, they don't catch anything.
Well, we'd have to... I think probably the best option would be either we go on to the ships, pretend to be fishermen, and then whatever they do catch, just cut them off at the chain and call it a day, or we can wait until they come back to shore with them, and then burn down the ships then, and then free the fish that they brought, assuming they aren't already dead. But unless we go back and ask them, I don't know if just burning down the ships would be enough, although that would be a nice way to avoid having to go to so much trouble.
I think that you are both missing a step. If we do not make a show of trying to pursue the people around Misfortune before we do this, I am not sure how this magic works, but I have a feeling that Gangplank is able to sense, if not somehow scry, on us and what we're doing. So, I
That's
think
a good point.
Before we do any of that, we need to make this connection with the courier and make a show of following what they want, and then take our side quest, if you will, to take care of the Buru's wishes. We can decide that then, but if we tip him off that we are trying to run an endgame and undo this curse on our own, I have a feeling this could be a lot worse than it is.
I agree with Nose.
I actually agree with it too.
As do I. That's why an unnecessary boat trip might tip our hand. If we can avoid it, simply set a couple of things on fire on our way somewhere else. No harm, no foul.
That's not a bad idea.
I suppose so. But what time is it relative to the time that we need to be for the meeting, Shibby?
I say go to the meeting
It's
first,
getting to be
for
late
sure.
morning, so you probably
Yeah.
want to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then, yeah. So I'm going to say, well, all right, I suppose that we could do that then. We'll definitely have to do it under the cloud of night, but I think maybe you're right. Maybe we try to go ahead and do that, and then we sell that back over at the Buru Temple. But we should definitely head over to the meeting because we will be late if we don't make it soon. And I wasn't even thinking about it at the time, but yes, we do need to be even more careful than we're probably already being, because Gangplank, I'm sure, has many people already watching everything in Bilgewater in general, but especially us. So we do need to be careful about the things we do. And I start walking towards the area that we're meeting her at.
Okay. You venture by foot along the cliffs to the lowest coves of Bilgewater Bay, the shores pockmarked with shanty towns inhabited by the most desperate of Bilgewater's denizens. Eventually you reach the opening where the cliffs meet the sea known as the Leviathan's Maw. At first you take it for a natural cave, until you get closer and see it's the open jaws of an immense fossilized sea creature, the teeth suspended from the opening's roofs so large that you took them for stalactites. A host of boats and gondoliers hover around the cave mouth like a flock of seagulls, spruiking their services to paddle visitors to the floating markets within. One of the gondoliers, a swarthy young man with a shaved head and a mouth full of bright, oversized teeth, runs along the beach towards you as you approach. Hello, my name is Johnny. You want to be going to the Leviathan's Maw?
Yes, we want to go. Johnny, we do want to go to Leviathan's Maw.
He's good. Johnny, Johnny is the best gondolier in all of the grotto. You come with Johnny. He's good.
So I want to make an insight check on Johnny real quick, just to make sure that he's on the level and not maybe trying to, a little too excited to bring us over.
Okay.
That is a 15 plus 2, so that's a 17.
He's definitely pushy, but you get the sense that this is more him having to hustle
money.
a lot to be able to make business in what seems to be quite the flooded market.
This is like every Venetian gondolier guy that I've
Yes.
met on tour.
Yeah.
I've never ever met a gondolier before, so I don't know what it's like, but I'm relating it to a used car salesman right now. So Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say, Johnny, it is very nice to meet you. We would definitely like a ride. Make sure it's a smooth one for us, all right?
It's good, it's okay. I think we want a gold.
How much gold now?
One.
One. Ooh, that is a heavy cost. What
No,
about
a one. I said a one.
A one. One gold,
You say
right?
it like a Johnny, a one.
A one.
One.
A one. now, one gold Kraken, is that correct?
Yes, this is right.
Well, we don't have one gold Kraken, but we do have 2 silver serpents. How about that?
Make a persuasion check.
Okay. That is a 4 plus a 3. So that's a 7.
He says, "Is not enough. A one gold kraken."
All right, I kind of slant my eyes a little bit at him, and I'm like, "All right, Johnny, you talked me into it. You go and get yourself a gold piece." And I take out a gold Kraken and I toss it to him.
And he snaps it out of the air very dexterously. Says, you come with Johnny."
We're coming with Johnny.
You board Johnny's gondola, and he paddles you into the Leviathan's maw, your breath catching for a moment as you're struck by the powerful sensation of being eaten whole. Your eyes adjust to the dark of the cave, and you see it continues for hundreds of meters, the roof of the cavern held up, indeed created by the spine and ribcage of the great beast. Dozens of wrecked ships are half submerged in the water, strung up with faint lanterns to guide your way, and your mind struggle to comprehend just how colossal this creature must have been in life. And Johnny continues as he's pointing out various features to you, and he says, "It's very dangerous in here, but you are with the Johnny Jackanip, the best gondolier in all of the grotto."
Johnny, do you know any songs?
I know many. You want me to sing?
I would love to hear you sing.
And before he breaks out a tune for you, can I get you all to make a perception check?
Uh-oh.
Okay.
If you have dark vision.
Okay.
Or you said, only make a perception check if I have dark vision?
Yeah, it's very dark in this cave. There are some lights strung up, but
15.
15. Okay.
She
All of
stares
you-
down the darkness.
Yeah, stare down the darkness.
Oh, I've got a dirty 20. by the
Oh,
way.
okay.
Nice.
Drek and Nose. Your companions are too taken in by their surroundings to notice the creature before it's too late, but you do. A huge blue fish leaps from the water towards the boat, and you have just enough time to glimpse its monstrous form before it descends upon you. Fins run along its round flanks and down its back like a mohawk. A wide, horrible, toothy mouth nearly splits its head in two, and most horrible of all, a huge, single scarlet eye bulges from its scaly forehead. It descends upon one of you, but we won't be able to find out until next time we play, because that's where
Oh, man.
Dang.
I was ready. I was tense. Dang.
You tricky so-and-so. All right. Well, that is pretty much going to do it for this episode, everyone. Thank you all so much for listening. We hope that you had a blast, and we'll have the links for everything in the description, of course. But in the meantime, you can check us out on alternerdreality.com for more information on this project, as well as any of our others, like our other D&D podcast called The League of Extraordinary Dicemen. We'll soon have a page up for this one as well. It might even be up by the time that you guys, or that this episode airs. But you can also follow us on Twitter at alternerdreal. And if you want stuff specifically for Legends of Runeterra, we also have a Twitter for that at RuinationPod. And lastly, don't forget to like and subscribe and review on Apple Podcast. And just to make sure, like I mentioned before, we do like to make it a little fun and show our appreciation for you guys doing that. So if you do leave a 5-star review, just tell us a character name, either at the beginning or the end of your review, and we will say it off in the name of a Legend of Runeterra or League of Legends character voice if you want. And yeah, that's pretty much going to do it. So let's go to the plugs real quick. Chew, plug it up.
Alright, so if you want to see video content from us, make sure you head on over to Alternate Reality on YouTube. If you want to see a variety of video game reviews or general nerdy stuff that we produce, head to alternatereality.com. And for me personally, you can find me on the socials, and I stream on Twitch at Chewburger84.
Very nice. And then Ray, plug away.
All right, you guys should definitely follow me on Twitter at Ray Mayhem. It's a lot of D&D stuff, and it's a lot of Legends of Runeterra stuff. And if you're here, you probably like Legends of Runeterra. If you do, come on over to The Ruination, which is a podcast that Mike and Sean and I do, and we geek out pretty hard on all the new things that are happening in the game, and we have at least a 15-minute rant every week about cards that make us question our life choices.
That's right. All right, and then Sean, are you good?
I mean, I'm here, guys. So you guys can say hi to me.
That's how Sean typically describes himself. I'm here. What can I say?
I'm present. So, but no, I don't have anything to plug.
All
so
right.
Besides the Ruination Pod, definitely listen to us on the Ruination Pod.
There we go. All right. Well, as promised, that has been the Adventures of Runeterra, and we'll see you next time in the world of Runeterra.
Peace.
Bye.